Um, we can do all things through Christ who strengthens us. Just remember that. Hope you enjoyed the video. God bless you. You know, people have a lot of, favorite characters. Well, yeah, people have a lot of favorite characters, a lot of people's favorite in the Resident Evil franchise recently has been either Leon or Ethan. Now, don't get me wrong, I love them both, Leon a bit more. I love Ethan too, but like the amount of glaze I hear surrounded by him actually irritates me. Like it's to the point, like I feel like a JJK fan hearing Gigi or Gege, glaze Yuta, bro. It's a bit annoying, it makes me want to slander Ethan, but I like him, I understand the pill, bro, and he's goated, bro. Don't come! My wife said she wanted me to come and get her, like what? But Leon, Ethan, Ada Wong, people like that, people love these characters. But my favorite character has to be Chris Redfield, bro. And I love him for, a couple of reasons. But I think the main one is something so simple and so funny. Imagine, right? You go through all this testing, you take a risk and inject yourself with a virus, There's a chance that you become some massive, disgusting, monster creature, some mindless monster creature just going around killing people, or one of those mindless, shambling corpses. Instead, you become a superhuman, right? You're able to, you keep all your intelligence. You're able to, let's say you keep all your intelligence. You're able to, plan, see ahead, you're able, you still have that consciousness of you still have a mind, you're not some mindless, shambling monster, no matter how many times you get stabbed or blown up or, anything of the sort, you seemingly always come back. You can dodge bullets. You can catch rockets with your hand. Yet, you can't dodge this one random story of it. Roided out guy's hands. Like, I understand why Wesker hates Chris so much, because if I was Wesker, I'd hate Chris too, bro. I do all this, take all these chances. I'm basically gambling with my life. I take the gamble, I win the gamble, just to not be able to dodge your hands, bro. You know how angry I would be? Man, if I was Wesker, I think I'd hate Chris more than Wesker already hates Chris. Me personally, I would probably have to genuinely try to nuke him, bro. It's not only can I not dodge your hands on multiple occasions, mind you, even apparently even when Chris wasn't as buff and roided out, that man Wesker still was struggling or just straight up couldn't dodge this man's hands, right? But also, for some reason, no matter how many times I fight you, how many times I try to kill you, I cannot get the damn job done. To the point that I'm so angry at you that now I have captured your love interest and turned her into one of my puppets just to mess with you, because I'm not going for this disrespect. Like, I do all this and I get taken out by this random regular degler N-word, bro. Like, I'm not going for this, bro. And something like people like really hate, well, I'm not gonna say, like, Ethan fans always blame Chris for not telling like Ethan that his wife was Miranda. But like, let me ask you a question. What would you do, right, if your cousin, you know, comes up into your house, shoots your wife? If he told you that was not your wife, would you believe him? And I don't think that like you understand, like, and I don't think that Ethan really understood the danger he was in, or he was like going through like some psychosis or something, because later in the game there are monsters around. This guy is trying to hand Ethan a gun. He's trying to warn him. He's talking about, what I need a gun for? After all the crazy stuff you've seen, what I need a gun for? Like, you gotta be kidding me. But back to the Mother Miranda thing. You also gotta remember that Chris does not know by this point that Ethan is special. So he, in his right mind, yes, his right mind, you know, because I'm not gonna sit here. My man's Chris was definitely correct by not telling that man Ethan. I don't know why people like these retards keep sitting here trying to act like, oh no, you should have told Ethan. First of all, when you tell people, all right. First of all, some people cannot act. Some people cannot act. And I feel like Ethan's one of those characters who cannot act. If he told freaking Ethan before the fact, even if Ethan genuinely knew that this was not his wife, he would suck at putting up an act, and Mother Miranda would know something that is wrong, bro. She would know that something's wrong, and then Ethan would have got slimed out, and whole plan would have been messed up. All right. And not only that, but even after the fact, Chris is trying to get Ethan out of there before Miranda pops up again and starts doing her usual BS. Because he does not know at like by this point that Ethan. Ethan. He does not know that by this point that Ethan is a mold monster. Unless you can drum up some logical reason that why Chris would have told Ethan this information, then you're simply being a biased retard. Alright? Stop hating on my man's Chris. He's like that, bro. He punches boulders, you know. Yeah, I'm sorry, bro. That scene where like what's the name? I forgot his name, bro. The freaking machine guy was like, that boulder punching freak or something like that. Boulder punching bastard. Bro, it was hilarious. But yeah, he punches boulders. He punches boulders. He punches superhuman beings. You know, like he's just like that, bro. Even when he wasn't roided out in that Resident Evil 7 Biohazard DLC, you know, and you get to play as Chris, bro, that man was still throwing them haymakers, bro. He was still throwing boulder destroying punches. If anything, I think his punches got stronger, bro. I need to see Chris. I need to see a Chris and Leon team up in a game, bro. Like, I want a co-op Resident Evil game where you get to play as Leon and Chris, bro. And I want like one of Chris's like finishers to just be like a boulder punching, a boulder punch. He just instantly kills whatever it is. Like what was Zoe's uncle's name, bro? That man, like, I gotta see Zoe's uncle and Chris get put into a ring, bro. Actually, never mind, because Zoe's uncle would just lose that, definitely. She's like, I know he done. I saw it, you know, I saw the deals. I know what he can do. I know how strong he is. He's still not beating Chris boulder punches, bro. This man's too built. He's just built different, bro. But I feel like Ethan gets a bit too much glaze, but he's not really like even like top five, top three in the verse. Yeah, he's not top three or top five. I'm not gonna lie. You know, in all honesty, for me personally, like the list in strength of Resident Evil characters, you know, protagonists specifically. Man, I'm counting Hunk as a protagonist because he's like that. All right, so it's Chris, then Leon. You could switch between the two, but I personally think that Chris has greater feats than Leon. Me personally. But yeah, Chris, then Leon, all right, then Jill or nah, Hunk, bro. He has to be put there. Hunk, yeah, Chris, Leon, Hunk. I'm trying to think, cause you know, as much as I do like Jake, bro, I just don't think he's top five. I personally don't think that Jake is actually. Now that I think about it, Jake's one of the only other characters who has gone toe to toe with a bioweapon with hands only. Actually, he is the only one who has gone toe to toe with hands only, you know, and came out alive. Chris hasn't done that, nor has Leon. So, Chris, Leon, Hunk, Jake Wesker, you know. Then chill, hold up, cause I'm really sitting here thinking, bro. I'm really sitting here thinking. You can really sit here and see like the cogs turning in my mind. Cause I'm trying to think, would it be like? I mean, if we take into account the regeneration power that Sherry has, then maybe she could be top five. But I really don't see her being top five. All right, so Chris, Leon, Hunk, Jake. Yes, I'm putting Jake there, bro, because having gone toe to toe with Usanek, or however you say that freaking monster's name, bro, is a great feat, bro. Because I really want to put Jill there, but I'm also thinking of like Ada. Like the only reason I was even thinking of Sherry was because of her regeneration, but that like regeneration doesn't put her over, you know, other characters because she's not as skilled as they are. She doesn't have as much battle IQ as they are. There's not as much experience, you know. And to be honest, sometimes she's just not as lucky as they are because it really does come down to luck sometimes. Which is why it's really between like Ada and Jill. I mean, would you count Helene? No, you would not count Helene. Because I'm starting to think more, and I'm pretty sure they're not protagonists. I'm not saying that they're in this conversation, you know, of who the strongest are. I mean, I guess Pierce with the bioweapon upgrade could be in the conversation. You know, when he like turned himself into a mutation, I'm a mutant. You know, I guess you could put him in the conversation, but I don't think he really counts as a protagonist. You know, or at least a main one. So we're gonna stick to like, you know, the real main characters. You know, no Helena, no Pierce. Yo, what was that one agent, bro? What was that agent like 67 or something, bro? I don't remember his name. It was an agent that you could work with as Ada on the co-op in Resident Evil 6, bro. Yeah, he's top. He's the fifth one, bro. He's the fifth one, bro. Like he can teleport, you know. Like, and I really think that teleportation really, you know, is a dangerous move to have in your kit. So I'm gonna give it to that agent. And we're Yeah, we're done now. We're done here. You know, it's the agent, bro. No, but seriously, I need somebody like to give me, because I really want to give it to Jill. I really want to give it to Jill, but I feel like the fact that Ada usually I'm really sitting here trying to think of some feats that Ada like has over Jill, and feats that Jill has over Ada. Dude, tell me why while I was like sitting there searching, bro, I see some freaking list, bro. And the list goes now this one is from bottom, yeah, from bottom to top, right? It goes Leon at the freaking bottom, Jill Valentine, Ethan Winters, and then Chris Redfield. I almost spit on whoever made that, bro. You're retarded. And then people said correct and objective and an objectively correct take. I almost, are you retarded? Like, I don't, like, you know, sometimes I've realized something, you know, I don't think, you know, I'm gonna get that to another video, don't worry about it. But yeah, so yeah, I think I'm gonna put Jill Valentine at 5. So now the strongest list: Chris Redfield, the GOAT, you know, Leon Kennedy. You can really switch them. You know, they've been shown equal in 6. They continue to hone their skills as time goes on, and it even in the later games, Chris has not lost that damn boulder punch. So I'm going to go with, you know, them both still being around the same power level, around the same strength, around the same skill, battle IQ. But I personally think that Chris takes it though, me personally. So yeah, Chris, Leon, then I put Hunk. Hunk, another character that keeps getting compared with Leon. Me personally, I know a lot of people say that Resident Evil 9, you know, Hunk died. But I feel like people forget that before Hunk left, he literally trained everybody. Like, he trained the entire, like Umbrella, like, he trained the entire mercenary group he was with. Umbrella took them, you know, and continued to train their soldiers like that. So I don't know why everybody's sitting there thinking it's Hunk. It could just be, not even could. I really think that it's one of, like, just Umbrella's, like, toughest soldiers, me personally. But, you know, to each their own, I guess. The only real evidence that they really have is the voice actor for the soldier. So yeah, besides that, I really do think that it is just a random mercenary that Hunk taught. So, yeah. Hunk at, 3. Jake at 4. I don't think that's crazy to say. I really don't think that's crazy to say, bro. Me personally, I know a lot of people are probably going to be like, Ethan Winters, but yo, I guarantee you, Ethan is not top 5. I promise you, he's not top 5. That's not even any hatred towards him or anything. I love his character. I love that he's a caring dad, you know. He's going to save his wife and his daughter, you know. I love that, you know. The other people, they're trained mercenaries. They've done this for a living. Like, this man, Ethan had to be, like, made borderline immortal just to be able to even, actually, matter of fact, not even to be able to hang, because the moment that he steps on that damn house, he dies. He's a freaking bum, bro. Y'all gotta stop doing that. So, as I said, yeah, Jake at 4, you know, I really feel like he's an underrated character. People hate on Jake too much, bro. Well, people actually don't hate on Jake now that I think about it, you know. It's more of like they didn't like the fact that he was like this this action movie character at first. I mean, well, he's kind of action movie character regardless, but you know, you get what I mean. Like he was kind of this like selfish prick at first, but later on he grew to be a better character through the experiences and the people that he's met. So W character development. That's really why I like Resident Evil 6 so much. It has a lot of character development. It may not be the best horror game, but it is a good game. And it tells a great story, Um, and if you don't know how to play the damn story in order, you are genuinely just a retard because they do it for you. They literally have it listed from top to bottom. You're overthinking it, or you're just stupid. It's just that simple. So yeah, Jake at number 4, and then Jill Valentine at number 5. Now, to be honest, you could probably put Jill above Jake. I'm not gonna lie. You could probably put Jill above Jake. But me personally, because of my let's say my bias with Jake, you know, especially I really think that being able to fight these monsters with your bare hands just like puts you on like a whole new level. And Jake has the fact that Jake was doing that with like a main monster. Like in all of Resident Evil 6, you could do that with all the enemies, but he was doing that with like the main like big guy. And so was Leon, which is why I say, you know, Leon and Chris, you know, they could be interchangeable. I personally put Chris above because of that boulder punch, but you know, Leon, he was sitting there beating up on Simmons. You know, I mean, I really feel like I shouldn't be talking about like 6 so much because people are gonna like get angry at me. And the fact that I keep bringing up how like, oh, they're just punching monsters, like as if like that's some sort of feat. It's not really a feat. It's just like something cool to bring up. It's kind of funny. But what is a feat is the fact that Jake defeated one with his hands alone. And it was with his hands alone, mind you. Like they were on a platform, they were getting ready to box. Jake was sitting there dodging, weaving, throwing straight haymakers, punched him into the lava, and then they later on killed him with a Magnum revolver. But the fact that he was able to win that fight with his hands, it's crazy. Now, Chris, I don't think I gotta say too much about Chris with his hands. All right, it's really insane. I think you could just really look at Chris, you know, and I think it would just explain itself. Leon, he's just goated. Like, I don't think I gotta really explain Leon. First day on the job, zombie apocalypse, goes through it somehow. Goes get some military training. You know, goes on this freaking mission with, what's his name again? Krauser. Comes back by himself. Goes to go and then save the president's daughter. Fights Krauser. Wins. What happened after that? I mean, I know there's something in between like 6 that happens. Like in between 4 and 6 with Leon that happens. I can't remember. I'm too tired. I'm not here to give you the entire story of Leon anyways. So yeah, just but yeah, I guess this was like a little bit of a Resident Evil like rant or talk. I hope you enjoyed the video. Jesus loves you and have a blessed day.